Hey folks, thanks for tuning back into the Colonial Airstream YouTube channel. Joe Welch is here with another service tech tip video. The awning on an Airstream is such a vital part of your RV experience. And if you're lucky enough to have one of these 12-volt Zip Dee awnings on your Airstream, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's nothing like hitting a button and seeing that awning come out just for you. And you can relax, enjoy some fresh air out of the sunlight. Occasionally, you will have some issues with these guys. You might even have the awning stick completely out and you're not able to operate it from your switch inside. But don't panic. Today I'm going to show you how to manually retract your 12-volt Zip Dee awning in the off chance that you do have an issue. Are you ready? Let's go. Hopefully you will never need to manually retract your awning, but in the event that you don't have power to your awning and it's stuck out, you'll want to use your emergency kit or a few simple tools to fix your issue. One thing to note is that certain Zip Dee awnings made before 2016 won't have a manual override. You can check with Zip Dee or call and message us here at Colonial if you need some help. But today we're going to be showing you how to do this on a 2019 Airstream International Serenity that's available here at Colonial. Inside your kit that you received when you purchased your Airstream, you will find an emergency cable with alligator clips, hex drive for the manual override, a magnetic adapter piece, a flexible shaft, a limit adjuster tool, and then the only thing you'll need to supply yourself is either a 12-volt battery or an electric power drill. First, we need to make sure that we have a 12-volt supply for our emergency override harness. Whether you have 12 volts still on the unit and are able to access the battery box and clip to the battery directly, or if you have an external battery pack or an external 12-volt supply, that's just going to be necessary for your harness here. And before we hook that up, first we want to go up to our motor. We want to make sure that we can access our harness here. And then it's very important that when we unplug our cord here, we're not ever going to be hooking up to the harness coming out of the arm. If we were to hook up to this, we would send power to the board and we'd essentially fry the brain of the awning. So it's important to grab the motor end, plug that to our harness, and then when we give that power, we're going to either get the arm motor to or the barrel motor to rotate out or in based on the polarity we're giving it. So now that we have our manual override harness hooked up, we're going to be giving power to our awning, and our first step is only to get it to roll in enough that our arms are pointed somewhat straight that we can access underneath the bottom of our arms there. So the first thing I'm doing is giving it power, seeing which way it rolls. This way it's traveling in, and I'm just going to stop when it's about pointed 45 to 60 degrees up. In addition to the motor in our barrel that's spinning our fabric out and in, we also have motors in both of our arms that's extending out those side rafters and bringing them back in. When we're rolling in the awning manually, we have no way to tell the arms to bring themselves back down. So we're going to be looking for the ultimate in mark. There's a tick mark on our bar. That's the limit on where we need to bring it in, or bring it in as much as you can, like we have it here. And the way that we're going to access that drive for the motor is with our flexible bit here. We're coming underneath, we should be able to easily see it and pick it out. And once we're on, we're just driving it out, we're driving it in. So now that we have both our arms stowed on our awning, we're able to run the barrel in the remainder of the way. A couple things to keep in mind is if you still have your struts on, you want to have your door shut. You want to make sure that both the arms are stowed to the tick mark before you roll it in. If they're not fully stowed, they could catch on your door if it's still out. The remainder of our operation here is to take our harness, give it some power, and roll it all the way in. In the event that your motor is no longer working, it will not turn your barrel in or out away from the coach. You're going to need to manually drive it in yourself. The first thing I'd recommend doing is taking out the 1/2-inch bolts for your gas struts and removing them from the body of the coach on each side. The next thing we're going to do is look for the hole in our Zip Dee awning logo on the furthest front side of the trailer, and we're going to put in our manual drive tool and thread it until she stops. Then we're going to come directly in line with the motor and we're going to take out our head bolt. Once our head bolt's out, we're going to be able to push the awning arms in, having it roll up as we push it, and then we're going to stop about halfway away from the trailer, put our head bolt back in, and then bring our arms down looking for the same scribe mark that we talked about earlier in the video. Once we have that accomplished, we can use the head drive again with the head pin out and pull it in all the way against the coach. Then you want to bring it to your closest service center to have them retime your arms and fix any broken components. Be careful to follow these steps precisely. Although it may seem easy, if you do these things wrong, you could either damage yourself or the awning, which would mean a trip to the Airstream doctor. Before we end this video, we want to thank you for watching and for hitting that like button and subscribing if you haven't already. And if you found this video helpful or you have any questions at all, please leave me a comment below or reach out to us at colonialairstream.com. Our phone number is 800-265-9019. My name is Joe Welches, and I look forward to seeing you all again in the next Colonial Service Tech Tip video.